Kamen Rider Zeztz episode 34 is stunning. All you have to do is watch the episode and you'll believe me. I mean, the depths of how good it is are difficult for me to articulate. I don't really know what to say. I'm almost getting sick of glazing this show because it's just been so good. It's been so consistently good. And the totality of it is that it's just a very good Kamen Rider series. It's a great story on its own. Even if it wasn't Kamen Rider, it could be, whatever supernatural dream agent powers. And it would still be a good show. It would be a great show. And I don't really know what to say about it because it's just fantastic. I think the way the visuals are working, the way the story is progressing, the way things are deepening, the way things are escalating in a logical way makes sense. Baku gets this godlike dream power and he uses it to infiltrate Sieg's dreams and stop him. And he does it right away. Why? Because he is a threat. He's a gigantic threat, a massive threat. He must be stopped. And so as soon as Baku has the ability to, he does everything he can to stop him, and he succeeds. And Sieg has this whole thing where he wants what he's doing, not that he wants it to matter, he wants the nightmares to entertain him. We get to see through the course of the episode and his backstory that when this punishment or whatever nightmare is called seeks to punish him by afflicting him with nightmares, he basically says, I've seen it all. I've seen the horrors. I've lived the horrors. There's no nightmare you can scare me with. And so he wants to be, proven wrong or shown something bigger. It's almost like an addict where they need more. One little hit, one little whatever is not enough. The dosage needs to go higher and higher and higher. He's become so desensitized to horrors, the horrors that he's committed, the horrors that he's seen, that it doesn't really hurt him. Nothing affects him. So he wants to, and he uses the power of somehow he was able to merge himself with that nightmare. He uses that power to afflict people with increasingly more painful nightmares. He's kind of like a sadist, I think is the name for a person who likes to inflict pain on others, but specifically, in the context of with these dream powers. And he wants the suffering to increase until he wants the suffering to continue until his morale increases. It was a really good joke. I wish it would have landed in the first try. Anyway, and to that end, he makes others suffer by manipulating their nightmares. But then Baku's able to overwrite or undo the manipulation of his dream. And it's interesting because it's almost as if Sieg is satisfied by the end when he dies, or I don't know really what happened because we don't get to see. I'm trying to think. It's like Inception. I think Baku went into Nem's dream and then went into Sieg within Nem's dream. So does that mean they're on the same dream layer, or is that a lower dream layer? I don't know. But when he comes out of that, after defeating him, he goes into Nem's dream. So he's still not awake. So has Sieg ever been in the real world since he became an agent? I don't know. I think not. That's my theory. Tell me what you think. If you disagree, or if you have solid evidence, maybe from official channels, you can share that with me. I'd love to know. But from what I've observed, it seems as if he's been lost in dreams as well, except he's been enjoying it. And he only came about from somewhere within the dreamscape because he was this agent who had escaped somehow once Baku had awakened from his premonition and was causing things to happen with code. So he's been asking to be satisfied, Sieg, by nightmares. Show me a really good nightmare. Let's make this a good nightmare. And then when he's dying in this, tertiary or perhaps secondary level of the dreams, he basically says that he's been satisfied. And I find that so interesting. I don't really know what to do with that. It might just be like a cool villain flex as he's dying. If you wanted to push it past being a flex and fine meaning it, I think you could say that it shows that Baku has surpassed his nightmare or dream manipulation level, or as far as he has a greater potency in doing that than Sieg has. And the shock and the horror of him being the one who's losing control now and being the one who's being manipulated and victimized, so to speak, by this other individual who has greater dream power than him, could be exactly what he needed, what he wanted. Could really be the answer to what he was looking for. And I find that fascinating. It's kind of weird, but it's also satisfying. And it's satisfying to see him get defeated like that. And it feels like we're being set up for the fact that now Baku is going to be all powerful and there should be no more issues for him. But the little bit that we see with 3 and him activating this Code Somnia thing, which is, somebody told me in the comments, Code Somnia is a little moon rock that looks like the, broken moon thing, in the show. It's inside of a capsule. And I didn't believe them, not because I thought they were lying. I thought they were like speculating or making a joke, but literally that's what we see here. And I noticed something interesting when we see the first dream infiltration, the first assassination. There's a white indented moon overhead. So did the red moon come from the moon being stained with blood with all these killings, all these murders, all these assassinations, however you want to put it? It's possible. I wonder about that. I think that's a really interesting detail. I wonder if that'll get explained, or maybe that'll be in the 8 side movies that Takahashi writes for Dawn, the eventual Dawn spinoffs. I don't know, but I just find it interesting. But really, the most interesting thing is just how good the show continues to be. And I was building to a point where I kind of want to save this for next week. I just can't believe how good this was. The suit looks great in motion. The idea that's being used here, that he's so powerful, Baku, that he's able to infiltrate Sieg's dream and find out these things against his will, and he's just able to take total control over him, is great. And I love the escalation too, where at first Sieg says, "No, you're not infiltrating my dream," and Baku just touches him with the little spinner thing, which I think looks dumb, but it's used a cool effect. And he just goes deeper and deeper and deeper and pushes harder and harder and harder. And, he victimizes this guy, but in an interesting way. It's kind of like when a doctor cuts you open because they're doing surgery on you to save your life. And he even offers Sieg a chance to repent and to break away from his dream, his nightmare. And Sieg doesn't want to. He likes being bad. It makes him happy. And Baku realizes he's unrepentant and then ends him because of that. And it's interesting because I was talking about the escalation of his dream manipulation, Baku's. He goes into his memories, he infiltrates, he gets deeper and deeper, which, by the way, I also love the fact that he has freaking Zeztz extreme doors instead of the nightmare doors. He's got these extreme doors that he goes through and that we get to see opened and utilized as he goes deeper into the infiltration. And then he starts warping reality in smaller ways and then in bigger ways. And then he just selects a memory when he's not in a good position to just deliver the killing strike. He selects a memory so that he can go back to a time when Sieg is wide open for an attack of his to be destroyed. And it's really amazing how things are escalating. And I love how this power that Baku's gotten and the position that he's in, he's acting very logically. He's trying to end things as quickly as possible. What is it? A good plan violently executed. It's a thing that came up in this Kaiju City book that I was recently listening to. And I think that's a fun concept because you want conflict to be violent, decisive, and if conflict is going to be violent, you want it to be decisive and quick and be over as quickly as possible. Why? Because lingering conflicts do not help people to flourish. So I love that Baku's taking this mentality of, I'm going to end this guy, I'm going to end the threat, and then I'll move on to code. But this is the immediate threat right now, and I'll take care of it and, fix whatever needs to be fixed next. And I like that attitude, and I like that approach, and I think it's really interesting, really impactful, especially because it makes it feel like, okay, the show's over. We're at episode 34. Baku's got all the power he can have. What's left to challenge him? And I think we're going to find out what's left to challenge him next episode. And I think it's going to be interesting how things go from there. And honestly, if they stick this landing, the show will be great. If they don't, it'll be diminished. But so far, the show has continued to be great. They've stuck all the landings, in my opinion, and it's just been fantastic. Let me know what you think about this episode of Kamen Rider Zeztz, as well as the whole series, if you want to. Fill me in on some of those factual inaccuracies or questions that I had, open questions. I'd love to hear from you. Let's talk about this. And also, check out the pinned comment so you can find my inspector's notes where I dive deeper into this episode. You can also find the playlist there for my other Zeztz coverage, as well as my coverage of Ultraman Omega and some other things as well. Until next time, folks, this is MJ with Rider Tears, signing out.